The new update reveals a whole new Fortnite, and it is absolutely insane. From tons of gameplay changes to new mods and the Warner Bros. Multiverse making its way to the game, here is everything you need to know about this update. We are not just talking about a new skin, and we aren't just talking about a simple map update. We are talking about an entirely new game mode that could fundamentally change Fortnite forever. If you thought Chapter 7 was wild so far, you haven't seen anything yet. We are talking about a potential partnership that is so big, it involves one of the largest entertainment giants on the planet. I'm talking about Warner Brothers. And the best part? We don't have to wait months for this. We don't even have to wait weeks. It is happening literally in a matter of hours. Stick around, because I'm going to break down the release dates, first look, and exactly what this secret Pimlico project could actually be. Let's talk about the creators' flights. We all know the drill by now. When Epix flies out the top content creators to their headquarters, something massive is going down. Just a couple of days ago, creators were posting photos from inside Epic. Sheena BR straight up confirmed it, saying, "New Fortnite mode is now confirmed." They were invited explicitly to test this upcoming game mode before the public sees a single pixel, and the embargo lifts in just a few days. If this was just a small limited time mode, Epic wouldn't be flying people out. This is big. Now, let's talk about the Warner Bros. Connection. If this new mode is indeed Project Pimlico, what does that mean for us? Think about the catalog Warner Brothers owns. We've already had DC skins, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, but a mode? Personally, I think it's going to be something like Space Jam, kind of like what we saw during the 0 Hour event. Or maybe they'll add more rooms, or let's say a multiverse, to really bring the Warner multiverse back to life. The report says details on the gameplay mechanics are scarce, but the data miners are linking these two things together heavily. If Epic pulls this off, it strengthens the metaverse idea tenfold. But now enough speculation. You want to know when you can actually play this thing. Here is the schedule confirmed by the leaks. Date number 1 is tomorrow at exactly 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time or 6 a.m. Pacific. The embargo lifts. Every major Fortnite creator, all of them, will be uploading their gameplay footage at that exact second. We are going to see exactly what this mode is. That is the gameplay reveal. Then, date number 2 is Thursday, January 22nd, 2026. This is launch day. According to the data miners, the new mode arrives with the V3930 update. Patches usually drop early in the morning, so you'll likely be waking up to a massive download and a brand new game waiting for you. So, you watch the gameplay on Wednesday, and you play the game on Thursday. It is that simple. I need to know what you guys think about this. Is Pimlico going to be the biggest thing since the introduction of Zero Build? Or are you worried it's just another creative map with a fancy brand name attached? And if it is Warner Bros., which franchise are you praying for? Personally, if I see a Middle-earth Lord of the Rings or DC mode, please, I might never leave my house again. Drop your predictions in the comments below right now. This is a huge week for Fortnite. Now let's talk about Fortnite x Minecraft. Yes, the two titans of the gaming world, the two games that defined a generation, might finally be joining forces. Let's look at exactly who is saying this, because names matter in the leak game. This intel is coming straight from Adira FN Info. Now, if you don't know that name, you need to pay attention. They are a relatively new source on the scene this year, but their track record is scary accurate. Adira FN Info is the exact same person who correctly predicted the upcoming partnerships with Adventure Time and Regular Show. Even more impressive, they were the ones who stood their ground and successfully disproved the Chainsaw Man collab rumors when everyone else was hyping them up. And they have gone on record stating they only report information when they are 90% sure of its accuracy. That is a bold claim, and it's why we are taking this seriously. But it gets bigger. Since Adira dropped this bombshell, the absolute heavyweights of the community, I'm talking about Hypex and Sheena BR, have started circulating the same information. So what do we actually know about this rumored Titan clash? The details are still locked down tight, but here is the timeline. According to Adira FN Info, do not expect this to drop tomorrow. They stated clearly that this collaboration won't happen for many months, and this is the key part. It is actively being discussed as a possibility for later in Fortnite Chapter 7. We are already in Chapter 7, so the clock is ticking. And now, let's move on to the lore. Let me do a quick recap of what went down in the Chapter 6 finale. Forget the fan service and the parade of collabs. 0 Hour was basically the setup for the next chapter of Fortnite. No, not Fortnite 2, but a totally different Fortnite experience. It's like the story just took a hard left, and suddenly, it feels like we've landed in a parallel universe. For real. After the defeat of the Dark Presence, the 0 Point Shard broke free. It restored Oninoshima, sent our teammates back to their own realities, and it felt like a happy ending, right? Villain defeated, the island saved, everyone splits. But here's the kicker. For 8 straight years, we were guinea pigs, carefully watched, and had our strings pulled by someone. And now they're done messing around, because their plan just hit Phase 2. After the 0 Hour event, the Chapter 7 teaser dropped, showing a bunch of flashbacks from old Fortnite. But at some point, someone seemed to hack the recording, and we got a message in the form of cubic runes. So, the last reality is back. Wait up though, they never actually left. The message translation says they first showed up not in Chapter 2, and not even in Chapter 1 when the purple cube appeared on the island. Turns out, the last reality has been watching us since the start of the Battle Royale. 8 years, 9 weeks, 3 days. They call this whole time the training period, if you can believe it. In that time, they've analyzed 928,560,000,000,000 hours of matches. That's all the Fortnite game time over 8 years. Bottom line, they know us better than we know ourselves, and can predict our moves not just one step ahead, but for decades. Luckily, using my creator code is a whole lot faster. But the last reality made one huge miscalculation. The Dark Presence was just another test for us, a kind of protocol to see how we'd handle that situation. But then, an anomaly happened that shouldn't have. The red cube, which Jonesy straight up pulled from a OG like it was nothing. It feels like even the last reality didn't know about it, which means a new, uncontrolled variable just entered the equation. Maybe there's a force out there we don't know about yet, and this force is so legit, it can mess with space and time. And if anyone has dealt with the last reality in person, it's the 7. Right at the end of the 0 Hour event, we got a 1-minute cinematic that covered almost the entire story of 6 chapters. But the main focus was on the 7 heroes who defended the 0 Point. And, by the way, the voiceover isn't some random dude, it's Troy Baker himself, the actor who voices Jonesy. That just makes the whole story more epic, like we're all chilling around a campfire and Jonesy is spilling the tea about his past. So, during the event, the captain of the Mika team leader showed up on the island. And Hope didn't just notice by accident that someone was controlling it. Suspicion immediately fell on the Paradigm, since she was always the one who piloted the mech. But we remember she sacrificed herself after the rift to jumpstart the island's restoration. But after a tease like that, you definitely can't put the Paradigm in the confirmed dead column. The Order is the only one we know for sure is alive. Her meteor landed on the island, and now she's trying to figure out what's going on. She's keeping journals that give us clues about the fate of the others in the 7. The Order herself seems to have vanished after her last note, because her final entry cuts off suddenly. We also got confirmation that her sister, the Imagined, is dead. Her death happened back in the 0 War comics, when she jumped into the epicenter after Geno. Now, besides the Order's own words, the list of vengeance in the Chapter 7 teaser confirmed it, where the name The Imagined is crossed out. The Order also mentions the scientist, but she abruptly cut off her phrase about his condition. So I'm putting my money on the scientist being corrupted by the Chrome, and the game files mention that the NPC Foundation and Visitor will pop up this season. What's interesting is that the Visitor won't be in his original Chapter 1 skin, but in the Chapter 6 OG version. And he's not showing up just to say hi. Turns out, the Visitor is hiding from the last reality, who found his location in the OG reality and sent their hounds after him. As for the origin, we have 0 intel. Seriously, we can't tell where he is, what he's up to, or anything right now. Long story short, the 7 used to be a legendary crew, but now they're basically a missing persons list. And right on cue, a new figure enters the scene, who is directly connected to the last reality and the hunt for the 7. The chapter trailer already showed us a massive cosmic ship looming over the island. Now it's clear this isn't the Cube Cradle from the Chapter 2, Season 8 event, but a scout ship piloted by the Dark Voyager. But who is he? And where did he come from? Jonesy says he smells like the void of lost realities. Not fear, not evil, just the void. Get it? It's a huge hint toward the nothing. And he reminds Jonesy of an enemy he ran into a long time ago, on the previous island. Obviously he's talking about the lost reality, who are probably booking it to the island right now. Hope also sees Voyager as a huge threat, but there's a catch. She doesn't get why, after destroying the battle bus, the Dark Voyager didn't attack anyone and isn't even paying much attention to the island. However, when trying to scan the near future, Hope realized she lost her fortune-telling skill, and her graffiti can no longer spoil upcoming events. The Dark Voyager ship and the power of nothing are blocking Hope's abilities, so we're running out of aces up our sleeve. Hope says they aren't the only ones collecting the 0-point fragment. Someone else is doing it, and it looks like it's the Dark Voyager. The latest update confirmed it. His ship is just chilling right over the 0-point shard. And if you check out the loading screen, you can see neon Lynx and the Voyager scanning the island, looking for something. And if you look closely at Lynx, it's clear they've already found at least one shard. Remember how I said the Visitor escaped from OG? It looks like Lynx was one of the hunters, since she's in the OG Battle Pass. The last reality seems to have put out a multiverse-wide APB to take out the Seven and collect all the shards. Right now, the Voyager is interested in the Inner Loop lab, which he's already taken over and turned into the Lethal Lab. He even replaced the logo. Seriously. Look at how extra he is, man. Inner Loop, by the way, is one of the shadiest spots on the whole island. We still don't know who's actually running it, or who founded it. At first, I thought Jonesy and Hope were in charge, but then I figured out they're more like partners than founders. You can learn a lot about Inner Loop from Karina. This girl, Karina, she's a total conspiracy theorist, and she's totally dug up the dirt on the lab. First, Inner Loop has been operating on the island for ages and has a questionable reputation. Second, Karina got access to a huge number of classified files, most of which have deleted info. But even the surviving data mentions the Seven's countless realities and the past of the epicenter. Plus, a lot of the documents have the digital signatures of Jonesy and Hope, so those two are definitely closely tied to the place. But those aren't all the lab's mysteries. Why does it have a giant particle accelerator powered by the shard's energy? Or how do they have so much info about Fortnite's past? But we can't worry about that now, because the Dark Voyager is in charge, and he's trying to do something with the 0-point fragment. If the game files are accurate, the entire epicenter will be fully reassembled by the end of the season, which means the Voyager's goal is to restore the epicenter. But why? I have a hunch he's hiding way more than it seems, and maybe he's playing his own game, chasing goals that are different from the last reality's plan. So, why does Inner Loop have a collider that powers the epicenter? Where did they get the Seven's data? And who even created the place? And what's waiting for us in Phase 2? That's a ton of questions we'll get answers to as the season plays out. Drop your theories in the comments, because the most interesting ones could make it into a new video. Make sure you turn on notifications, because for the first time in a long time, I'm genuinely interested in following what's happening. Finally, the storyline doesn't feel like some snooze-fest nursery rhyme where you know the ending from the jump. And this is all happening even with map changes in the very first update. It's basically the prelude to the Seven making their big comeback. The update finally explains what Order was doing on the island. Turns out, she was trying to send a distress signal to the remaining team members. But at the last minute, the Dark Voyager caught her. And now the Order is locked away somewhere deep in his lethal lab. Karina hinted at this, digging up info about a cage and a mysterious room right under the Voyager's lab. But wait, there's more. Data miners say we'll be able to get inside his ship soon, pointing to game file strings that say the ship will be open at some point. The Voyager himself has already started executing his plan and rift away. Honestly, this whole thing feels eerily like what the Cube Queen was up to back in Chapter 2 Season 8, and we all know how that ended. The Voyager is probably planning to drag his homies from the last reality over to the island, and then we're in for a real showdown. Or maybe he has totally different plans that we can't even imagine yet, and Dago is somehow connected to them. Yeah, it looks like Maskmaker is returning to the Chapter 7 storyline, but with a new look, now he's Elite Dago. Truth be told, I can't quite figure out which side he's playing for. The design of his suit gives off major vibes from both factions, and the color palette of his armor is a dead ringer for the Voyager's cradle. Long story short, this topic is too juicy to cover quickly. If you guys smash the like button on this video, I'll cook up a whole video breaking down the Voyager's mysterious Red Room, Dago's sudden return, and that ominous rift, because it definitely looks like something big is brewing.